No sooner had Titan Shang Tsung been defeated than Bi-Han and his loyalists hunted us down. Outnumbered, we fled to Japan. There, we sought refuge from an old family friend. As children, we played together. But Harumi Shirai was a woman now, the head of her clan. Her strength, beauty, and intellect awed me. Also incensed by Bi-Han's betrayal, Harumi agreed to help me forge a new clan, one that would stand against him and defend Earthrealm. Her aid proved invaluable, and as time went on, we grew closer. To honor Harumi and pay respects to my new bride, I named the clan after her, calling it the Shirai Ryu. Now the battle against my brother begins in earnest. The Shirai Ryu won't rest until Bi-Han is defeated and the Lin Kuei's honor restored.
Kuai Liang and I were working hard to build our new clan. But even with the help of his close friend Harumi, it was difficult. The biggest problem was finding the right initiates. Then, one night, while walking outside Harumi's compound, I was attacked. I thought at first it was a Lin Kuei assassin, but his strikes were too uncertain, too angry. My attacker, it turns out, was a boy. Homeless and hungry, his assault was born of desperation. He needed money so that he could eat. It was like looking at myself 15 years ago. I would have ended up just like him if the Lin Kuei hadn't taken me in. So I took the boy to Kuai Liang, who also appreciated his fire. We made him our first initiate. The boy's name? Hanzo Hasashi.
I had broken the Lin Kuei free of Liu Kang's enslavement. We were now masters of our destiny, and could take our place among Earthrealm's great nations. But taking and holding territory would require a vast army. I needed more fighters to make our presence felt. Then I recalled Shang Tsung's dragon warriors. An army of them would be unstoppable. But trafficking in such strong magic would surely draw Liu Kang's attention. Sektor advised that we avoid detection by building our army using science, not sorcery. We've invested much into this endeavor, and we are beginning to see results. Once again proving the depths of Sektor's genius. When we are done, all of Earthrealm will honor our desires and heed our demands. If not, they will face the Lin Kuei's wrath.
Were it not for my godly counterpart, I would not have survived the battle against Titan Shang Tsung. Meeting him, though, raised questions. Why did I replace him in this new era? Why was I made mortal? Lord Liu Kang told me of his Raiden's nobility and righteousness, about his steadfast leadership in the defense of Earthrealm. He also told me about Raiden's dark side, how he could be consumed by rage and cast aside the rules he otherwise lived by. Making me mortal and incapable of such anger was to keep me from following in his footsteps. Though I understood the reasons why, I felt I had been done a disservice. To survive the coming battles, I may need the edge that only great rage can bring. As the Shaolin couldn't aid me, I sought out someone who could. Someone to stoke the fire within me and teach me to master it. For this, I could have no better teacher than the Shirai Ryu's Grand Master.
It was inevitable that the Shaolin Masters had me join them. They knew just how much future initiates could learn from me. Shujinko was one of my earliest. His ability to absorb anyone's powers and skills was amazing. With the right training, he could become our greatest champion. I knew that I alone could give it to him. But as his proficiency grew, so did his ego. In love with himself and his power, Shujinko became a threat to the realms. He hadn't learned humility, because I wasn't the one who could teach it. I should have listened to Raiden's warning and not tried to train Shujinko alone. After he was subdued, Shujinko's accumulated abilities and memories were taken from him. He is once again a new initiate, ready to begin his training. This time, Raiden and I train Shujinko together. He will become the champion he is destined to be. And I will fulfill my duties, humbly and cooperatively.
I couldn't believe that Liu Kang welcomed me in Earthrealm, or that he thought me worthy to study with his Shaolin masters. After a lifetime of wishing for one, I finally had a home. But my joy was tempered as I thought about Serena. My shadow sister was still under Quan Chi's yoke, and she deserved a life free of him as much, if not more, than I. Quan Chi and my other sisters proved tenacious, but they were no match for my blade. I snatched Serena from them. Then Liu Kang helped me break Quan Chi's spell. Her mind free of his influence for the first time in years, Serena chose to join me in Earthrealm. My sister and I once again fight side by side. Only now we do so for Earthrealm. Together, we have formed the Order of Light.
Quan Chi's plot collapsed. Along with it, my plan to secure new beings to feed my starving people. Because I'd advocated for partnering with him, I was held responsible. If I didn't seize for Viternus' new feeding grounds, the Coven would banish me. But then, I had a revelation. I didn't need to conquer realms to feed my people. I simply needed to capture enough beings to breed them. Once they multiply, Viternus will have a limitless, renewable source of food. And I only need a few thousand to start. A number so small compared to the billions in the realms that no one will notice as people go missing. But it will be more than enough to establish our breeding stock and feed a ravenous Viternus.
Quan Chi's defeat had cost me everything. For months I had furthered his plot, and now I had to start over. Saito's people were still in chains. That's when Rain approached me. On the run from Empress Mileena, he was desperate for help. And though I'd had my fill of sorcerers, this one was different. I agreed to provide him safe haven. He agreed to help topple Saito's government. And topple it we did. Rain summoned a wave so fast, so powerful, that it crushed the capital. Saito's fascist rulers were swept away. My people are finally free. They can chart their own course, needing only to follow their own desires. Their lives are now blessed by anarchy.
To elude capture by Empress Mileena, I joined Havik's crusade in Saito. There, I summoned more magic than I thought possible, and drowned out the old regime. Havik's longed-for anarchy had been achieved. He was more than satisfied. But I was left empty and broken. Had I been satisfied as Outworld's High Mage, not let myself be tempted by Shang Tsung, a great city would not now lay in ruins. I've caused devastation, ended thousands of lives, all because of my blind ambition. I've betrayed my oath, my sovereign, and my realm. These high crimes merit punishment, and I'll accept whatever the Empress gives me. My only ambition now is to one day be forgiven.
As the darkness enveloped me, I took a long last look at my family. I did not expect to see them again until their souls joined mine in the living forest. But miraculously, my beloved husband delivered me from oblivion. Though he couldn't save my body, Jared had preserved my soul. Like him and countless others, I am now a part of Ermac. Yet ours is not a peaceful repose. The collected souls within Ermac have their own needs and agendas. Before we can speak as one, we must first reach consensus. I had thought, as the former rulers of Outworld, I and Jared would hold sway. But here we are, two souls among many thousands, fighting for the right to be heard. And if there is one thing we do well together, it is fight. We will win the right to govern Ermac as we once had governed Outworld. And we will rule for the benefit of all.
After fleeing Outworld, I hadn't expected to return. But then, I also hadn't expected the new Empress to make me an offer I couldn't refuse. To thank me for helping stop General Shao's rebellion, she asked me to be her emissary to the Zaterrans. Going home, bearing the seal of the royal house, I would show, once and for all, that my mutation wasn't to be feared. That it wasn't a source of shame. To my surprise, I was welcomed. But those warm smiles hid a dark secret. I stumbled upon a trove of official records, which showed that my shape-shifting ability isn't unique. Many Zaterrans are born with it, but are killed by their government to keep it from spreading. Who started this barbaric policy? Who is now enforcing it is unknown. But I will find out. And I will put an end to this madness.
While the regime had changed, little else had. My people still suffered in silence, ignored by the rest of Outworld. Though now I knew Empress Mileena's secret, that she was also afflicted with Tarkat. If anyone would help, it would be her. But how to get an audience? Syzoth. He was the Empress's new emissary to the Zaterrans. I asked him to introduce us. At great personal risk, he agreed. And as I'd prayed, the Empress was willing to meet. Even better, she would visit the colony. She was shocked to see how we lived. She moved quickly to provide for our care and comfort. Thanks to the Empress and Syzoth, we Tarkatans are no longer pariahs. Until our disease can be cured, that will do.
Though worried about how the public might react, I met with Baraka to discuss his Tarkatans. Speaking from his heart, he moved me. I agreed to visit his colony and see how his people lived. The conditions were atrocious. This was one of my mother's few mistakes. Like all Outworlders, she treated Tarkatans with scorn. What they deserved from us was compassion. And the only way to get it for them was to reveal my affliction. To show all my subjects that even an empress could get Tarkat. The scandal my revelation caused was intense. But with the help of Kitana and Tanya, I emerged from it a stronger empress than ever. My honesty, empathy, and resolve won over my remaining doubters. There is no longer any question that I am fit to lead the Empire.
Until recently, I hadn't met Li Mei, but I had heard the stories. How the Umgadi's matron superior blamed her for not preventing Emperor Jared's murder. How she quit in disgrace rather than accept punishment. But those stories didn't fit the woman I now knew. Li Mei would never have been so negligent. Eventually, I uncovered the truth. The failures and mistakes which led to the Emperor's murder, they resulted from poor decisions made by the matron superior themselves. They made Li Mei their scapegoat. When the Empress found out, she wanted the Umgadi disbanded. But I convinced her that it could be reformed. To make sure it did, she put me in charge. I am humbled by this sacred responsibility. The Umgadi, my sisters, they are my life. I will not let them be brought down by the acts of a selfish few.
As her reign began, Empress Mileena faced many challenges. To meet them, she turned to the people she trusted. Her sister to lead her army, and me to lead her Imperial police. Though I missed Empress Sindel dearly, I was glad my ties with her family had been mended. But while it was an honor to be made responsible for Outworld's internal security, I soon realized accepting the appointment was a mistake. I'm not cut out to be a bureaucrat, nor am I patient enough to navigate the Imperial Court's politics. I was at my best patrolling Sundo's streets, when I could feel the city's pulse and serve and protect its citizens directly. That's why I resigned my post and resumed my role as Sundo's first constable. I end each day knowing I've made a difference.
General Shao's revolt left Outworld's armies in tatters. We were vulnerable to enemies both foreign and domestic. That's why my sister asked me to take command, to stitch her military back together and purge Shao's loyalists within it. She trusted only me with the task. The soldiers, however, had little faith. They thought me a spoiled dilettante, unprepared and unfit to serve. That I could fight mattered little. All that mattered was that I wasn't one of them. I finally earned their loyalty by orchestrating an epic victory over Shao and his rebels. Though the general himself escaped, his forces were smashed. For as long as I am able, I will lead the Empress's armies in defense of Outworld. Through strength, we will achieve peace.
For a moment, Jared took control.
We fixed the damage which had allowed him, and reimposed our collective will. But the damage went further than we thought. Without Quan Chi's aid, the spell which birthed us would fail. All of our souls would die. We freed the sorcerer from captivity. But after healing us, he betrayed us. He schemed to make us his slave once again. Combat was fierce, yet we persisted, finding strength in the unique abilities of our collected souls. Now we must decide our future path. Reconciling our desires will be difficult, but reconcile them we must. If not, we will be consumed by civil war.
Though Ermac had freed me from my Legion cell, I found myself no less imprisoned. I had no allies, no benefactor, and no obvious path back to power. And power is what I crave. But why should I settle for the scant abilities of someone who is an underling sorcerer? I should be the one who controls history, who bends people and events to my whim. I should control the hourglass and wield it as the keeper of time. While I search the realms for the hourglass, I further master the dark magic needed to destroy Liu Kang. My quest may take a lifetime, but it will be worth it. For when I succeed, I will achieve omnipotence.
The battle had been lost, but the war isn't over. I won't stop fighting until I take Outworld's throne. That they thought Legion Prison would hold me is laughable. Once free, I began planning my next campaign. I would need an unstoppable army to overthrow Mileena. Unfortunately, most of my former soldiers lacked the courage to rally to my standard. Rebuilding my army would require finding new recruits. And that task is proving easier than expected. Outworld's golden age has left more than a few behind. Without hope, without power, they eagerly heed my call to tear down Mileena's government.
With General Shao freed from prison, we began raising a new army against the royal family. Though many were eager recruits, few were good at soldiering. It was so bad, the general was forced to change tactics. He decided that we needed a doomsday weapon. That weapon isn't a thing, though. It is a monster. Onaga, the Dragon King. The general told me the old legends were true. That his ancient ancestor defeated Onaga, trapping him deep inside Mount Sagan. The Dragon King is still there today. His pent-up fury waiting to be unleashed. Because Onaga is so dangerous, the general wouldn't risk trying to tame him before. But now, he feels we have no choice. Though I likely won't survive, I accept this mission gladly. I can think of no greater honor than to give my life in the General's service.
After escaping Lei Chin prison, I was hounded by the Imperial Police. I needed a place to hide and to recuperate while I plotted the best way forward. I knew the remote canton of my youth would be perfect. To escape capture, I traveled by sea. Little did I know that a gargantuan storm was brewing. My tiny craft was smashed apart. I closed my eyes, waiting to drown, hoping that the Netherrealm wouldn't claim my soul. But when I reopened them, I found myself not in hell, but on a deserted island. From its ruins, I could tell that great sorcerers had once lived there. In the caves beneath the ruins, I found what I can only describe as a well of souls. Once I learn how to wield its power, I will become invincible.
Since this whole thing kicked off, I'd wondered why Liu Kang chose me to be a champion. I mean, sure, I was killing it as a martial arts star, but it's one thing when it's all for show. It's different when you're playing for keeps. Then Liu Kang let me in on his master plan. He wanted the masses to know about the world beyond them, the one filled with gods and monsters, and he wanted me to tell them about it. But I knew revealing the truth all at once would be too shocking of a plot twist for most. That's why I pitched doing a bunch of stories, to slowly get people used to it. And if there's one thing I can do, besides kick ass in combat, it's build a cinematic universe. I'm serving up movies, streaming series, games, you name it. I like that I'm doing a public service, and it doesn't hurt that I'm making more than a few bucks. It's the kind of synergy that would make any studio mogul proud.
I wasn't looking for allies against the Yakuza, but I found one in Special Agent Jackson Briggs. He'd heard gangsters plotting to kill me on a wiretap and came calling, hoping I'd be his informant. We planned to part ways when we got the job done. But then, Shang Tsung showed up to steal Sento. Needless to say, Jackson had questions. It blew his mind to hear that the stories in Johnny's movies were real. Once the shock wore off, Jackson quickly sized up the threats Earthrealm faced. To deal with them, he got his bosses at the FBI to form the Outworld Investigation Agency. When he asked me to sign on, I hesitated. After all, me? A government agent? But it's an important job. And more importantly to me, an honest living.
To kill a snake, you cut off its head. Or in the Yakuza's case, its heads. Kenshi said I couldn't do it. But he didn't know what I knew, that the family's bosses were meeting to talk shop and settle disputes. In one fell swoop, I could decapitate them all. As they nursed whiskey and negotiated, I waited. My moment came, then was cut short, when a fiery portal opened. Out of it stepped men I'd never seen before. And from the boss's low bows and averted eyes, I could tell they were the ones really in charge. Listening in, I learned they run the Red Dragon, an ancient clan secretly behind all of Earthrealm's crime families. I could crush the Yakuza, but these Red Dragon would simply replace it. Probably with something even worse. I'm facing a powerful new enemy in my war on the underworld. One I never saw coming. And I've got to finish them, or die trying.
My loyal partner had warned me. Reclaiming my power as Keeper of Time might have unforeseen consequences. In this, as in most things, he proved prescient. The process I had undergone did irreparable harm to my body. Taking back my power had cost me my immortality. While my lifespan would still stretch across eons, I would one day perish. And if the war with Titan Shang Tsung taught me anything, it is that this timeline is not safe without a protector. Yet I had never given thought to choosing a successor. Who is it that could replace me and protect my new era? The answer, of course, is Geras. Tireless and meticulous, he is perfectly suited to be entrusted with this grave duty. And no one knows better the temptations of the hourglass. I have no doubt he will be above them.
Though the barriers between timelines had been rebuilt, there was no question that they could again be broken. Protecting this timeline would require eternal vigilance, so that it could not fall victim to further outside aggression. But nothing in my countless lifetimes had prepared me for this task. In none of them had multiple timelines ever coexisted. Monitoring them for threats was an entirely novel problem. It would require a novel solution. I discovered that though the timelines no longer touched, their meeting had left them intertwined. I can now secretly surveil all timelines, keeping watch for potential danger. It pleases me to do this service for the new era. Lord Liu Kang may rest assured that it is secure.
Though Kuai Liang had accepted me as a Shirai Ryu, many of his warriors could not. The bloodshed at the wedding had left many injured and scarred. Their hearts understandably simmered in bitterness. It boiled over one day as we trained. A push became a shove, and suddenly I was fighting for my life. After he intervened, Kuai Liang banished the instigators. It made me ill, how my presence was disrupting the clan. It was no way to repay Kuai Liang's mercy. So, I offered to resign, and asked for those who attacked me to be reinstated. But instead of ending my time with the Shirai Ryu, my gesture heralded a new beginning. It gave those still resentful of me pause, enough for them to permit me a fair chance to prove myself. Given the circumstances, it is all I can ask.
Though I had returned to the temple after Titan Havik's defeat, I remained livid. Livid with Bi-Han's foolishness, Kuai Liang's betrayal, and Cyrax's defection to his Shirai Ryu. So when Quan Chi arrived to parley, offering to eliminate the upstart clan, I listened. For his services, Quan Chi asked that I retrieve an amulet that was locked away in the Temple of the Elements. No small task, given its wards and guardians. The one worth undertaking, if it would finish the Lin Kuei's rivals. But before I could find the amulet, I found Bi-Han. There he was, imprisoned and forgotten, when Liu Kang had promised to restore him. As I rescued Bi-Han, all thought of retrieving Quan Chi's treasure was quickly forgotten. I will never forgive Liu Kang for this betrayal. That he is a god will not stop me from seeking vengeance.
As I regained consciousness, I regained my memories. My transformation into a creature of chaos. My defeat of Titan Havik. And my failed confrontation of Liu Kang. Sektor was obsessed with finding the means to purge my soul of Titan Havik's corruption. She was shocked when I told her she should do no such thing. Infusing my soul with chaos did not damage me. It enriched me. By embracing randomness and chance, I have unlocked vast new powers. My combat is less predictable, more formidable, and radically more lethal. Titan Havik gave me these gifts to use in fomenting his chaos. Instead, I will use them to fight for the Lin Kuei. Liu Kang, the Shaolin, my brother, and his clan, will yield in terror when confronted by my perfection.
Desperate to avoid defeat, Titan Shang Tsung had stolen me from my timeline to set me against Liu Kang. He assumed a Viltrumite would shift combat in his favor. Shang Tsung was right, of course, but he was blinded by ambition and failed to consider that my only true loyalty is to the Viltrum Empire. In my home timeline, my mission to pacify Earth for Viltrum had been left incomplete. I thought I could redeem myself by delivering this new timeline. New realms, new species, all ours for the taking. For a few years, annexing realms satisfied the Empire's hunger for conquest. But my people have excellent memory. I knew sooner or later we would return to our own timeline, to Earth, to finish my original mission. I only hope my son has had time enough to prepare.
Project Starfish? Project Butterfly? Crazy town. Both of them. But neither was as fucked up as Project Magician. I was way over my head with Eclipse. I mean, the dude's a goddamn god. Somehow, though, I got his back to the wall. Freaked him out so bad, he cast a spell that sent me here. I guess he thought sending me here would finish me? But I tell you, I feel like I've come home. This place needs peace. Bad. And like me, folks here will do whatever it takes to get it. So bring on Shao, Reiko, and those dickhead sorcerers. I'll drop them all first chance I get.
How many times have I saved them? I give and give and give, but no, I laser a few measly, innocent bystanders, and suddenly they're all, "What have you done for me lately?" I guess they forgot there's only one true justice in this world. Me. But of course, that was before things got weird. Gotta admit, a portal from another dimension opening up and demons pouring out wasn't how I thought Tuesday was gonna go. But then again, that multiverse crap is all the rage lately, so who knows? And the same ungrateful crybabies who whined about me lasering a few dozen nobodies, now they beg me to save them. So I save the world again. I mean, it's my world. Can't let a bunch of demons disrespect me. After I finished them off, their portal or whatever was still open, which could only mean one thing: sequel. I went in the damn
glowy hole. And what did I discover? Another realm with a tournament where gods and monsters fight to the death. It was like Vantland, but just for me. Honestly, I only wish I'd known about this place sooner, because I've had the time of my life.
One minute, I'm in Woodsboro, closing in for the kill. Then the next, somehow, I'm here. How did it happen, and why? Don't know, and I don't care. What I do know is I'm gonna sink my teeth into this plot twist. But people here don't know me. And if I'm gonna relish making mayhem, I need 'em fucking scared. Live streaming some kills will do the trick. The shredded flesh and splattered blood will go viral. And that's when the fun really begins. I can't wait to start stacking bodies, to see the eyes go dark as they die. I do this right, someone will want to turn it into a video game. And they say I'm a psycho.
From the time he encountered the mysterious Yorg Kosha, my master has known other worlds and other planes exist. Long has he dreamed of visiting them and availing himself of their pleasures. So when he learned that one of these worlds faced an unimaginable evil, he did not hesitate to heed its call for aid. But even his wildest imaginings could not prepare him for these gigantic, hideous beasts. If not annihilated, they would consume this world. And after that, fill their bellies with ours. Pleased with his new allies, and eager for the adventure this new world afforded, Conan chose to stay here once the battle was won. Many wars did he fight. Honor and fear were heaped upon his name. In time, it became legend.
How the Terminator came to this timeline is unknown. The danger he poses to it, sadly not. As he began his murderous rampage, all in the realms stood horrified. All that is, except Sektor. To her, he was the perfect weapon. One that once added to its arsenal would make the Lin Kuei invincible. Upon capturing him, Sektor worked feverishly to commandeer the Terminator's cybernetic mind. But she underestimated his machine intelligence. He broke free and quickly seized control of Sektor's factory. Soon, it was producing Terminators by the thousands. They have caused death and destruction on a scale unimaginable. Not even my godly power can stop them. Our options and our time are running out. If we cannot soon find an answer, this timeline's flesh and blood beings will be obliterated.